This is Radio TV Phono Nut, and I suspect most of you have seen the standard variety, common as dirt, 12-inch black and white TVs with a standard mechanical tuner, one knob for VHF and one knob for UHF. But some of you may not have seen a 12-inch black and white TV with an electronic tuner with a digital keypad for channel entry and a red LED channel readout. Well, in the early to mid-80s, Zenith made such a TV, and they also made a 19-inch black and white set with that type of tuner. And I've heard that there was a 22-inch version, but I can't confirm that. And we all know what they say about listening to rumors. These sets are not very common. In fact, the last one I saw was at least 25 years ago at a yard sale in town. It was late in the day, and the little TV looked mint, but they wanted $25 for it. And at the time, as a 13 or 14 or 15-year-old kid, however old I was at the time, my only motivation for picking up old TVs was to fix them and sell them. And at that point in time, all a 12-inch black and white would have brought was about $25, so I decided not to fool with it. You got to remember, at that time, just about any used TV that worked would sell. It didn't matter if it was black and white, color, or what it was. Somebody would buy it. Well, unfortunately, that's really not the case anymore. In fact, I just gave away 3 1980's black plastic crap TVs to one of the flea markets. There's one flea market in town that says that they can still sell such a set every once in a while, but they're about the only place I know of, and I don't think they're moving them very fast. One of them was a 27-inch Sony, one was a 20-inch RCA, and one was a little 13-inch Sylvania from the Funai era, and I couldn't get rid of them no way I tried, so I just loaded them up and dumped them off at the flea market. You know, today everybody thinks they got to have flat screens. You know, owning an old boxy CRT TV, that would be too embarrassing to have their friends over to watch the ball game on that ugly thing. So, you know, that's just the way it is. And flat screen TVs have gotten so cheap now that just about anybody that wants one can afford one. I know a member of my family recently bought a 48-inch, I think, for something like $350, $400. And I can remember a time in my life when a 19-inch color set with rotary knob tuning cost that much, but guess what? That 19-inch rotary knob set from 1980 whatever is likely still going. That modern flat screen is not going to be going in 30 years, and it's probably not going to be repairable. Now, this TV here was a gift from my friend Miguel. Many of you know him. He's into vintage electronics, just like many of you are, and I believe he has a YouTube channel. But anyway, let's turn this on and see what happens. I have it connected to the digital converter box.
The fun run will be held on January 14th at Marine High School starting at 9 a.m.
Channel 3. Yeah, there we go.
Proceeds will benefit student success at MTSD.
As you can see, the set works, so there's really nothing to do to it as far as repairing it, but we'll pop the back in a minute and see what the inside looks like. Now, I almost forgot I had the 19-inch version of this. Let me get it on something else, because the copyright nuts are just as fanatical about images on a TV screen as they are music, but we won't get started on that. But anyway, what I was saying was I actually ran across the 19-inch version of this set one time. It was given to me by the local Zenith dealer. It was one that had come in for repair and was declined. And the reason it was declined is because the TV had been in an accident and it snapped the neck off the picture tube and cracked the chassis. So that was the end of that set, and that's the reason I didn't fix it. But anyway, let's open this up and see what the inside reveals. Okay, here we are with the back cover removed. This is the main chassis. Looks similar to what was used in their standard model of 12-inch black and white. And over here is the electronic tuning module, which contains the control circuitry and the tuner itself here. Picture tube is a 12 VCM-P4 with an EIA code of 462, whatever that corresponds to. I know it's not a Zenith or Roland or Sylvania tube, so it's probably a foreign tube. Well, it actually says Taiwan on it, so yes, it is a foreign-made tube. I can see the power cord has been replaced at some point, probably because somebody cut the old one off.
And personally.
Okay, there we are.
Let go.
And on this set, you can either randomly access the channels or you can use the up and down buttons. Of course, nowadays all we need is channel 3 since there's no more over-the-air analog broadcasting. And I will say that digital has its advantages, and then when it works, you get a nice picture and you can have all these extra sub-channels that we didn't have before. But when digital doesn't work, then it can be a pain in the butt, because all you get's a pixelated mess. At least in the old days, you might not get a crystal clear signal, but you got a signal. And also in the old days, when I wanted to test a TV out, I didn't have to fool with all of this. I could just turn the TV on and pick up something off of the antenna terminals, or at best stick a piece of wire into the coax input on TVs that had such a jack. See, there we go right now. Here's an example of the pixelated mess we get with digital. See, there's no way you can get any use out of that. In the analog days, we'd have a snowy picture. It wouldn't look so hot, but at least you could still watch it. And all these extra boxes and stuff, that's another reason why you can't get rid of an old non-digital TV to the general public, because with our vintage TV collectors, you know, we'll take the steps needed to make these old sets work, but the average person doesn't want to fool with all of these boxes and adapters and cables and blah blah blah. They want a TV that's basically plug and play, so to speak. We're going to get a kids channel 24/7. I guess that means when I have the urge to watch Sesame Street or Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood at 3 o'clock in the morning when I can't sleep, I can get up and do so. Well, actually, I kind of liked watching Mr. Rogers whenever I was a kid. But anyway, there you go, a little 12-inch Zenith black and white from the mid-80s.
Don't die out there.
With digital tuning. Thanks again, Miguel, for sending this to me. It's very much appreciated.